we have reached the point in our video production where we can add some audio. It's the final touch that really brings it together. It's a part of the whole process that I really do enjoy. Step number one is to go and retrieve our music. We are all going to use the same selections of music for this learning project. And so navigate over to Drive B, and you will see, I'll go ahead and go back to the beginning once again. So current year, 2015-2016. Scroll down to video production. There's our Lava Beds project, and we've added a folder number 10 that has all of our audio tracks that we're going to use. And so what you can do is just go ahead and copy that entire folder over to your ThoughtSpace Drive E, put it in your video production folder, and then we will continue on. So this would be a good time to pause and get that taken care of, and then we'll go ahead and get those imported into our project. All right, next step. Now that you have those in your ThoughtSpace, over on Drive E, there they are. I'm going to grab that folder and drag it into my project window and release it. Hopefully it loads them all okay. Minimize my window. And let's take a look and see if they are there. There they are. So these are the names of each little musical selection. And so the first thing to do is to go through and listen to some of these tracks so you're familiar with what we have to work with here. So the way you could do that is you can drag it up into the source window, or you could, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's redo that. Let's bring our tracks back. You can also just double click those to bring them up. And so you can see that we have stereo tracks here, and there's left and right. And we can play it. We can pause it. We can move to a different portion of that selection. We can go to the end, listen to the fade. And then we also note that the entire musical selection is 1 minute, 11 seconds, and 29 frames in duration. 1 minute, 11 seconds, and 29 frames. So that's how long that selection lasts. And of course over here that tells us the location within the selection of where we are. So we can use that if we want to grab exactly a certain amount of time here. So if we want to go to, let's say, 45 seconds. There it is right there. And play from that point. So take a minute to go through and listen to each of these tracks. And when you see something like this, that indicates that it's going to be louder, more volume. And these musical selections, these were actually produced right here in Room 8 a few years back. Let's see, Gilliam's Camp. There's some birds in there. Sounds like some voiceovers, some rifle sounds. That's fun. So this would be a track that might be useful to you in that little section there where it looks like we have those Civil War actors over there at Gilliam's Camp. Sounds like some cooking going on. That's a lot of fun. So anyway, play through those, and then we'll get back and look at some other details as to how we're going to use these on the timeline. All right, hopefully you've had a chance to go through that. What we want to do now is take a look at how we can grab a particular section. Now, if we wanted to use the whole piece of audio, we just grab it right there. You can see the little sound waves there. And we would drag those down into an audio track. Right there. See, I just put those on audio 1. And there it is. And then you could expand the track, and it will reveal the left and right audio tracks. And so now we have some music, audio going with our movie. If we don't like that, we just delete it and take a look at it. Now, what's real important here is that very often we do not want the entire track. Maybe we just want a particular element. And I'll just go ahead and choose this section here because it's got some nice sound effects going on. I hear birds and rifles and some talking. So what we can do is that we can set a point where we want the sound to come in. Like right there. There's a little rifle sound there. Well, I like the birds too. I'm going to get those too. So I navigate to the location where I want my piece of music to begin. And then right here, mark in. Shortcut letter I. And so when I click that, you'll see down here that this highlighted bar indicates that which I'm going to actually grab or cut out of the entire musical selection. And then we found our out point somewhere. And we'll stop it right there, and then I'll set and mark the out point, shortcut letter O. Click that, and now we have just this little selection right here. And now I can grab that and put it anywhere I want down here on my timeline. And so that little piece would be appropriate right here at Gilliam's Camp. So I think I'll move it so the little Gilliam's Camp deal pops up. Let me zoom in a little bit for you there.
Cornerstone, you make sure you get up there on that ridge to take the post. Keep an eye out for any activity that might be coming on.
All right. Now, just like with our images with the transitions, we can also put an audio transition on a particular piece of audio. And we do that in the same area where we picked up our transitions, which was effects. Except instead of video transitions, we are now interested in audio transitions. Right here. There's our crossfades. And our default here is the constant power. And so that's the one we're going to use. And I can take and I can drag that right there. And so what that'll do is fade the audio in, give it a nice smooth feel. See that? Hear that volume increase? Now we can also adjust that. I can double click that transition. It's lasting for 1 second. If I want it to last longer, a little more gradual. Let me get that out of the way so we can see this. Minimize that. Fades in. And then we're going to do the same thing at the end of it. We're going to fade it out. And we're going to have that last for 2 seconds also. So at the very end, we get a nice fade. Like that. And then we'd be off into our next piece of audio. Now the other thing that we'll want to do is adjust the volume on these tracks. So there's a couple ways of doing that. One real quick way is that you will see this little yellow bar right here. And if you click, now it's a little difficult to do, but you click and hold that, and you can drag that down, you'll see the minus pop up. You can increase the volume, decrease the volume. And so I'm going to go about a -5. Let's see what that's like. So there you go. So at this point, what I'd like for you to do is to pick a piece of music and practice. Just grab one of these pieces of music, practice setting an in point and an out point. Drag it somewhere on your timeline. Don't worry about finishing the movie at this point. It's just practice. In fact, I'm just going to delete that one, get it out of the way, put it right here. Make sure it plays okay. And you'll notice that we do have meters here that we'll talk about in the next video. Let's see if you can get this placed on the timeline. See if you can add an audio transition and change the duration of that transition. Double click that, change that to 2 at the beginning and at the end. Better zoom in a little bit, have a little more control. There we go. And there it is. So practice that a few times, get used to it. It's a process that you will be using throughout the school year. And I will see you in the next audio video.